Welcome to the Nerd Party.
I'm Darren Moser.
I'm Philip Gilfus.
I'm Daniel Prue.
And this is City Alpha 3.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to SETI Alpha 3, a Star Trek podcast here on the Nerd Party Network. I'm your host, joined as always with my buddies, Darren and Philip. How are you guys? How's this week going on? Philip, I know you went on a bit of a trip, but a hike.
No, it's called a trek.
Trek. Sorry.
On a trek.
A bit of a trek.
I got to visit the residence of one of our fellow Nerd Party folks, Lee, who had a very extensive Star Trek library that I wish I could have made more use of.
A little lighter by the time you left, I see.
Because because I don't have, he has Star Trek books, as in like 90s books, not novels. That I'm like, I wish I had, like, he had like the DS9 tech manual and like the Voyager episode guide. Like, I don't have all those and stuff that I would be interested in having. So that was kind of cool. I didn't get, and he also had like the art of, I'm gonna get the artist wrong, Juan something Ortiz or something like that, where an artist does like all the episodes as like posters.
Oh yeah, I've seen that.
And so that was kind of cool because he had the TOS and then he had TNG, so it was kind of cool. But yeah, and then I'm planning on going to, so Star Trek Day is coming up in a couple days.
That's right.
And I know they're going to have some online Paramount Plus stuff, I think. But they're also having some in-person screenings of animated presentation. It's kind of sketchy what it's going to be. But one of those is going to be in London. So it's obviously going to be in the US and Canada, but so I figured I'd go up and see what that's all about. So on Star Trek Day, I'll be in London at whatever. And because I think it's going to be lower decks, but I think it may also be TAS. I don't know. It's going to be like a block of stuff. So we'll see. So looking forward to that.
Like TAS, like the original series? Like what? Like
I think
what?
So.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
like
I know for sure what it won't be animated. I'm sure it will not be Prodigy. So, but
well, yeah, that's not in the budget, unfortunately, I guess. But okay, interesting. Well, you'll definitely have to keep us and let us know what happens. That's interesting. Darren, what about you? What's going on with your week? Anything exciting? Star Trek or Star Wars or?
I'll probably just put on some Trek episodes while I'm cleaning the workshop. It's been a lot of busy weekends where I haven't been able to work on stuff, so I'm been looking forward to the weekends when I don't have stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's in a galaxy far, far away. But in about 2 weeks, we have a little con here called Legends Con, and it's a very specific con. Not a huge convention, like kind of the hotel ballroom, at a single place kind of scale. But with Legends Con, it is focused just on Star Wars Legends. So all the old books and the old video games, pretty much everything pre-Disney so like before 2014, when everything kind of became the new canon. So it's an interesting focus on Star Wars, but a very like subset. So it'd kind of be like, a Star Trek TOS only kind of, convention where like you're not allowed to dress past the Monster Maroon or something like that.
I kick you out of the door.
Yeah, but
no, Strange New Worlds counts as the 23rd century. No, dog, get out of here. Get out of here.
Your costume.
Those aren't Klingon.
There's texture on that uniform. You're out.
That's funny.
But yeah, so looking forward to that. Gonna put a costume on BD1. He's gonna go as a precursor to the BD unit that was developed, because you're not a full nerd unless your puppet has a costume itself. Mm-hmm. That's when it's all good.
Sounds good. I have been just making my way through Deep Space Nine. Like I mentioned, I was on that Angels and Demons episode or whatever it's called. I don't remember. And next week, or not, well, I guess I'll talk about it next week, but next week is the next episode is Prophet and Lace, So that will be fun. Definitely not looking forward to that, but that's okay.
Yeah, I don't remember that episode. I mean, like, I know what it is, but like, I don't remember it as, you know, as this being like in like the top 5 or top 10 worst Star Trek ever. It's not burned in my mind that way. So it'll be interesting revisiting that.
Yeah, I'll let you know. And if it is truly that bad, maybe we'll talk about it in the future. But also, I want to just mention, this is not Star Trek specific related, but science fiction related. This week, Bethesda, the game developer, very well known for developing games like Fallout and Skyrim, the Elder Scrolls series, they're releasing their brand new game, Starfield, which is basically Skyrim in space is what I want to call it.
Oh, cool.
So I'm very excited about it. Super hyper pumped to go start. You get to build your own ship. You go out in the galaxy and explore and get to do all sorts of fun questing and building relationships.
Is it like a multiplayer online game, or is it all solo campaign?
It's
just open
all
world,
single player, open world, just like a Fallout would be, or a Skyrim or something like that.
This planet has been locked by the microtransactionites. Please input your credit card to access this continent.
Oh man, I would wish Captain Kirk would show up and talk that.
Every time you level up, it goes, it's been a long time.
So I'm very excited about that.
You have to know how that one goes. The only game I'm but excited coming soon is end of September, I think. RoboCop, I think it's called Rogue City.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that game.
I'm just a huge RoboCop fan. I don't even know if the game's gonna be any good. I don't care. I want to play a game where I'm RoboCop and I'm blasting people away. That sounds like a fun time.
I mean, that's definitely Star Trek related because the actor, what's his name?
Peter Weller. Yeah,
Peter Weller. That's right.
Yeah.
Who's been in Star Trek?
Was in the
twice.
was great in the finale of
Enterprise.
The
last episode of Enterprise.
And also the famous captain of the famous ship Vengeance that we all know about.
Yes.
I'm sure he's going to go on to do great things in that ship, that black ship that's scary and called Vengeance, but it definitely won't get murderized by his...
it's the new Mars Defense Perimeter, the USS Vengeance, you know.
But thanks to a last-minute submission by our friend Philip here, that's not what we're going to be talking about this week. We are going to we're going to have a little bit of a thought exercise, because early in Season 1, they brought on Q into Deep Space Nine to maybe sprinkle some of that Q magic, or I guess maybe, exactly. Use his fingers to bring some magic into...
Now I'm just thinking of that Simpsons episode where they're like, U.S. government has no credibility anymore, so they're borrowing some of mine. It's like Tom Hanks, and he like tussles that kid's hair. He's like, tussle my hair, Tom Hanks. And now I'm picturing Q like getting his hair tussled to like add the magic sparkleness to DS9. Well, when you're in the middle of a war arc, what is better than a good old jolly romp around the quadrant with Q?
We'll talk about the timing, because maybe it won't be a war story, but maybe it will. But we want to try to find a redemption arc for Q, because obviously Q worked very well in TNG, and then Q went over to Voyager, and people seemed to like his stuff there as well. He definitely had at least a different relationship with Captain Janeway, but it seems that Sisko just wasn't down for his stuff. He just did not want to put up with him, and that was it. Which is funny for a second, but then obviously not compelling to watch too much. So let's try to fit him in some way, sometime in the future. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean a mid-season 7, right before the 10-episode arc at the end of the show?
I mean, Ezri has to meet Q, right? I mean,
do we want to do that? Or does it, I mean, it can be season 3. It doesn't have to be that far. You know what I mean? But I guess the point is, what is the point? Are we looking for redemption for Q? Or do we want him to have some sort of an actual adversarial relationship with Sisko in some way? Or maybe he doesn't even interact with Sisko. It could just be him and the other characters that makes it more interesting. I don't know, because obviously in the first Q episode we bring in Vash. I don't really think we need to bring her back for any reason, but I don't know. Any ideas that pop in your head right away that you'd like to see? Like, maybe a Q versus Ducat episode, or I mean, that seems silly because Q would just win, but you know what I mean.
Well, I think a couple things. I think, or at least in my opinion, why Q worked in Voyager and I'm not in the same way, but just like worked well, or in my opinion, as he did in TNG, is because there's a different dynamic, as you said. Q Picard have their dynamic, but Q and Janeway have a different one. I mean, it's kind of still funny, but it's almost a little more serious, honestly, than you get in TNG. More dramatic, like Death Wish. You get suicide, and you get a civil war, and Q's. It's very interesting. You get a little more dramatic with Q and Janeway, and so then my question is, so then what's the dynamic with DS9? Because it can't be TNG and it can't be Voyager. And then the second thought I have is what it automatically goes to with DS9, because it's like, once you go past season 4 or 5, then you're either talking war or you're talking the spiritual war. And so then that's an interesting thing. How does the prophets and Q?
See, that's what I would love the scene where
they're like at a table together, like.
Because it's like tapestry looks like the celestial temple, and so like you can see Sisko like shows up like at the beginning of an episode, like he's having like doing something. He has like his little prophet flashback that he'll always have. Except instead of prophets, Q shows up and he's like, "What?" And then da 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 da.
I'm now picturing like you said in Tapestry, like Q is talking to Picard, and then the camera kind of pans, and you see way off in the distance, like Sisko just over there. Like it's all the same white space. They're just each in their own. And then he's like, "I told the prophets to stay over in their side of the white space,"
No, see, I like it more of as a surprise. So, like, Sisko goes into one of his prophets' visions, and then they start talking.
Of whatever.
He touches the orb of listening.
The orb of whatever.
The orb
of cookery. Like we talked about.
The orb of MacGuffin.
And so he starts having the conversation with them. The same annoying conversation he has to have every single time. And then all of us, in one of the characters that he just switches to is Q, and he just starts talking normally. And he's like, "What's going on here? Hey, what are we doing here, guys?" I don't know if like he like knows the prophets and is annoyed by them, or like he just doesn't know what's going on. But I'd love to see an actual interaction between those characters.
I could almost see, and maybe you can reject this, that Q may be acting as an ambassador from the Continuum about which side to choose, the power race or the prophets.
I just looked it up. It was the orb of sustenance is what we called it. I'm like, we didn't call it cooking. I was trying to remember what we called it. So something with the power race. I would almost think you could just do a straight substitution. It makes me think of an episode like Take Me Out to the Holosuite, where they play a game of baseball against the Vulcans. Same exact episode, except it's not this Vulcan captain. It's Q pulls the entire senior staff into like Earth's past, and they have to play baseball. Same beats kind of play out. It's just more Q-iness because it's time travel and reality bending.
So we're doing Cupid, but with Deep Space Nine,
basically. Yeah.
I'm almost thinking, and maybe, because I was just thinking, like, okay, you do the game, and Sisko's always gonna be like, "I'm not playing your games," literally,
right?
And then I could see the Q switches it up.
But and what if it was baseball? My one weakness, Q. I have to play baseball.
Because then I was wondering, like, what if he switches to something that they know? And he changed it to the Alamo, based on O'Brien and Bashir.
And O'Brien and Bashir are like, he kind of like puts his arm on, like, "O'Brien, it's our time."
it's almost like Ghostbusters, like, right. O'Brien and Julian were thinking Alamo instead of the Marshmallow
Everyone
Man.
clear your minds. Nobody think of anything. I'm sorry. I always think about the Alamo. I can't help it.
We have a Holosuite date later. I mean, I say date. What did I say?
Yeah. I mean... So look, just because I've requested bigger quarters for the last 3 years because I need more space for my models, what's this ore processing facility doing? It's doing nothing. Total space for a model.
Just because I could see with the, and it would be part of a larger plot, but with the Alamo, the metaphor is, especially if they're playing the Americans, where you're dying. I mean, that's the Americans died in the Alamo, spoiler alert. And so like, if they're playing that role, and I don't know who's playing, the Mexicans. But then like, that's sort of like when you're going to die, what do you do? Or, when you're outnumbered, and do they try to change the story, or do they?
We could have Kurt or have Sisko say something like, "This isn't the Kobayashi Maru, Q," like basically because he sees the likeness.
Mm-hmm. It's not a no win; it's a can't win.
What is he trying to teach Sisko in this? Because that's what he did last time. If we're following, template.
At the end of it, should it just be Q is teaching us, the audience, that we should enjoy Q episodes whenever he pops around,
and not be so mean to him and punch him in the face?
Yeah, God never hit me. I'm not Picard.
Because I wonder, and again, I'm going too deep in this. You guys,
are we bringing in the female Q too? As well.
You mean Q? She has a name.
I know. Sorry, Q. Because I like to see like her square off against like Kira or.
No, that's too much.
So funny. Too much. That's too much. Q.
Depending on the timeline. Well, not that time means anything. But yeah,
Q comes back. Oh, guess how is this? I think it would overlap with Voyager. I can't remember if the episode with his son aired before the end of DS9. Doesn't matter. For our purposes, it did.
It did.
So Q and his son pop in, and Q's son wants to join Starfleet, and Sisko just loses his mind because it's so preposterous. And he's like, "You let the Ferengi do it.
You let big ears in."
Yeah. And he just explodes.
Oh man,
that's funny.
Because again, we don't have to do the prophet stuff, but I just think like with Sisko playing this emissary role, Q's like, "Oh, you're a religious figure, huh? All right. Well, this is usually what happens to them,
Every time Q shows up, he's like in a different religious.
Like a get-up, like a costume, or
It's like,
and then I'm also, depending on when we place it, do we get Worf Q if we're doing?
Oh, we'd have to, right?
Oh, yeah.
Post season 4,
and Worf is just like, oh no.
Yeah, I mean, he wouldn't have to go to Worf to have that conversation. Like, who is this? I know him from blah 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 blah.
You could have the meta conversation where Q's like, Worf, you're here? They need to spice things up here?
Oh, that would be nice.
little referential. I'd say as soon as Worf sees Q, he pulls out his phaser and shoots it at him. And he's like no provocation, just bam. And Sisko's like, Mr. Worf, like, and he's like, just checking to see if he's mortal, because, it'd be a lot easier.
Happened
that one time. I told you just had to die to prove that you were mortal.
Now, I was thinking just to sort of mix it up a bit, and you guys could say this is a stupid idea if you want. But like,
all these ideas are stupid ideas.
Well, that's true. That's totally fair.
It's a Q episode. They're all going to be.
What if we also brought in, because I don't think, usually when they did, like in TNG, they did like the big sort of character bonus episodes. They didn't like do multiple ones. So like, what if they brought in Lwaxana as well, and she got to interact with Q? I don't know that she'd have that much to say, but I thought Q might have something fun to say about her and Odo. I don't know.
There is a. I know you're probably not a big Trek novel reader. There is a Trek novel called Q in Law, which is when Lwaxana meets Q.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's a TNG book, obviously.
I can't remember what happens in it, but I have read that book.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, I don't know. It was funny when I read it 15 years ago. I don't know if it still is, but anyway. Yeah, and you could, and this would be so like we're just TNGing up DS9, but you could almost have the B story be Lwaxana, like, for whatever reason, maybe we're not playing with Odo and Lwaxana and someone else are having the B story, and then the rest of the crew is on the Q. hijinks.
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. And then he just shows up at the like last scene or whatever.
Yeah,
because Q showed up in DS9 in season 1, right?
Yep.
It was like the 5th episode, right?
It's really early.
Yeah.
See, I think that's why I like this idea is because Q needs to kind of show up like season 5 or 6, like after we've really established these characters. We barely even knew who these characters were. And didn't they kind of use him as a vehicle to, I mean, they literally say it like, I am not Picard. Like Q was brought in to show Sisko is not Picard, which we all know, but
yeah, and I think in a way it is very effective at that. So I kind of don't want to soften that. So that's why I'm a little concerned if there's like, if we bring him in to do silly hijinks with Sisko, it sort of undermines
this thing with although I like the prophet angle. It's basically like, how do is it like, okay, cold open, you have a table in the white space and you see Q, 2 people who are representing the prophets, the great and powerful Kevin. We're just getting all the characters together.
I like
having
this.
like an annual
God conference.
And they're just having they're just, and then like the Pa race are sitting at the little kid table off to the side.
I like this. And Sisko shows up as the emissary. I mean, he's not voluntarily, but he's like...
he has to... Yeah, he's like, sorry, you're the emissary. You didn't know what every 10,000 years we have this conference, and you're the emissary. You got to come.
Oh, my...
He's literally... Because you always think the emissary of the prophets is from the prophets to the Bajorans, but he's their emissary full stop.
He's their
anytime
lawyer.
A prophet representative is needed.
Oh, man. And so not only is he upset that he is brought into this by Q, like he feels like that, but it's also emissary stuff, which we know he doesn't like being the emissary.
He never got the full job description.
Yeah.
That's true.
Q was all like, here's your job description. It's just like a scroll that like keeps going.
Nobody told me that, like, yeah, these God things can be pretty vague. We know.
Just roll and go with it.
Now I'm picturing again even more meta. He's like, oh, job description. He has like a stack of pads. It's like, it's all here. And then he's like, I know it could fit all on one, but it's much more impressive to show. And it's like just, making fun of the
and I would also like,
joke.
you can take it away a little bit that it's not Q that's brought him here. It's the celestial entity. Yeah. So, like, Q just happens to pal him up. Like, someone I know. Hey, buddy.
Hey. He's got a drink. He's like, hey, you're here too.
He's got a name tag on it. Just says
Q. Hello, my name is Q.
Oh, man.
And every cosplayer goes, yes.
I mean, I know we're already way past what would actually happen, but I don't even care because this is... And then he like slaps a new one on Sisko, and it says like Sisko. It's crossed off as emissary.
Yeah, I know. It's like, I'm Captain Benjamin. Nah, emissary. That's your name. That's your name.
And that would be even funnier if that was literally just the scene, like that was just the opener.
That's just a cold open.
They just vote on one thing and then they're done, and it was just to get them together. Like, that's really funny.
Yeah. So then after the intro break, it's like, them having little cocktails or something at the food
drinks at the
food bar. And they're like, so that's done. What do you say? It's like, we don't actually get to. I kind of want to.
I can see Sisko being like, "Oh, what is this
going on?"
Q's like, "I don't know. I wouldn't exactly call it nectar of the gods."
Yeah. Something green from Focus 3.
Sisko reappears on the Defiant, and then Q just shows up too, and he's like, he brings the drinks with him or whatever.
Remember me from the con? That was 5 seconds ago. For you.
I've been halfway around the galaxy. Yeah. No, I mean, we got to have the great and powerful Kevin. I don't want too many God beings, but I think those 3 just to start with.
God representatives. Yeah, that's how it's a mix.
You can have the what's it? Apollo, right? Apollo from
that's right.
From the original series. Yeah.
Trelane, you can
just the hand
Trelane
shows up.
Yeah. And he just gives a thumbs up when they
this episode. He's like, so yay or nay? And he's like, boop, boop, boop. Okay, I know this episode is now fully in the realm of Lower Decks in its absurdity. Like, there's no way this would actually happen.
You can have like the big dopey head from TNG. I don't even know what episode that was, but if it was one of the early ones, if you remember, like it shows up on the bridge.
Oh, wasn't that?
And it's like filling the bridge. Yeah, and it's like really old looking.
Is that where Newman has gone before? I'm pretty sure because
I think it is.
That's where they go super far, and then it turns out you're going to our land, right? I think.
Yeah, that was that episode. I'm pretty sure.
Okay,
and you can have Nigellum,
his
name is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We got a list. This wouldn't be hard.
Nigellum represents the wall behind them. He's like just that face, you know.
I know. Oh. Yeah, because I mean, you could be very funny, but it's all about Sisko learning more about being an emissary because he, good and bad things are involved.
He's like, here's the history of Bajor, like which Sisko didn't know. And basically, at the end of the episode, the message could be that Sisko's now going to take it a little more seriously and learn about, we see him go into the temple and at the very end, and Kira's there praying, and he's like, I need a history lesson. Like, can you tell me about your people? And she gives that smile, that Kira Nerys always gives, when she's really happy, and then it like cuts to credits.
Now, and I feel dumb asking this. Is he the only emissary? Like, in the past, have there been emissaries?
There have, because there's an episode where one that was kind of stuck in the temple comes out.
That. Yeah. That's only because when he comes out, then they're like, oh, well, technically he was there first, so he's the emissary.
Oh, that's right. That's a good question, then. I don't know if there's, like, always an emissary.
I don't think there's always one.
It's like a slayer,
They definitely have them, yeah.
Because I think...
I never get the feeling that he's the first, but it doesn't feel like there's been one for a while.
Because then I could see where at GodCon, they're like, oh, yeah, no, so the emissary always shows up. And it's like, we don't even do names because we don't want to learn them all. So, yeah, you're emissary. Yeah, whatever. You're the emissary. We're not learning new names. But I think that's where he can learn that there is a lineage to this role. And then at the end, maybe that's when he's going to start doing more historical research about the prior emissaries and not just his, 5 years or 3 years of doing this, that there's a longer role to this.
Yeah,
or maybe he finds out, maybe we've never established that there have been previous ones. Maybe he finds out now that there have been previous ones.
Yeah. Or he gets to meet them. It's just, Q could maybe help him meet them. Like he gets to go back in time or he just brings them forward or whatever. And he teaches them that way.
Q has Polaroids from the old conventions. Like, yeah, that's me and the other emissary.
That'd be funny. All right. Okay. So now Q has something to contribute. He's going to teach Sisko about being supreme being. I like that. That's kind of an interesting angle.
She can be like, I've always pondered with maybe having an emissary, Picard would never wear the outfit, so I don't know.
Would Janeway, though? No.
Having a herald.
A herald, there you go. Okay, what else? What other interactions do we want to see?
The Herald of Galactus. Maybe other
Miles
interactions? That's true. Would so Worf and Miles would have remember Q?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, at this point, everybody would. Yeah. Everybody knows
that's
Q.
true.
I wonder. And I know the answer is
true.
no.
That's the difference. Is that Worf would see him this time and not the first time because he wasn't on the ship yet.
Yeah.
Or at station.
I mean, I don't want to do small world or small galaxy, but like none of the decks has ever had any Q interactions. I guess not. But anyway.
Yeah, maybe. Well, she never mentions it. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that not that the Trill wouldn't know of Q, but the fact that Starfleet didn't know of Q until he showed up, and they've been around a while, so.
Always, Darren. Always. Is the word you're looking for. He's been around always.
He was having his Gamma Quadrant phase, He was off over there causing trouble.
It was a gap year.
Gap millennium.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds good. I like that angle. All right. What else do we want to see? How else would this play out? I wonder.
I'm just thinking like it's a great set because it's just that white light the whole time. Like it's just minimal. Like you'd have a bar, but like that would be the just the table. It'd
they
be
take
white.
a break and they go
white
back
stairs.
onto the station, and Sisko's just kind of like blinking his eyes hard because he's just been staring at the white room for hours.
He's all sweaty because it's hot in there.
And maybe you could play it where like Sisko gets breaks, and so he returns back to the real world every few minutes before getting called back. He has like a little lanyard when he goes back to the normal wartime.
Jeez. Well, or from the perspective of the crew on the station, he's been gone a second, but from his perspective, he's been at the con for like hours. So.
You know, it's a 3-day long conference, and so each day, end of the day, he comes back and they go, I like it.
Okay, but there's got to be some sort of conflict here. It can't just be easy breezy.
The overall message is, I think, Sisko coming more to terms with being the emissary.
Right.
Those are always good episodes. We do that a lot. But maybe the conflict is some of the other god beings want to move in on the prophet's turf or something. I don't know.
I could see Q not making fun of the prophets, but asking Sisko questions maybe he's never thought about. Like, not directly necessarily, but like, you don't think they're manipulating you? You don't think they're using? I would. I mean, like all these things that Sisko's sort of been like, oh, the prophets helped me, and I begrudgingly have to deal with the Bajorans about it. But like, he never really I mean, you tell me, Daniel, you're watching it. He never really questions the prophets about who they are, what do they want, what are they doing to Bajor? What are
Yeah, no, certainly not the way you would think he would.
And they've also kind of seen. Hands on, hands off,
space station.
Yeah, like what is their goal? Is their goal to like lead Bajor? Because like they're firmly entrenched in their, way of life.
I don't know, man.
Q's all like,
it never makes sense to me.
Where'd the earring thing start? Like, did you start that? He points to one of the prophets.
I mean, I can see at the bar Q's like, I'm surprised, you Starfleet, your emissary. I mean, aren't you all big on that? Oh, what's it called? Odd directive, even directive. One of those things, not interfering. I mean, that's what the prophet's been doing with Bajor the whole time. And you're part of that.
I just do think that an interaction between the prophets and Q would be funny. I just think he'd get annoyed with the way that they communicate because it's terrible. And I think I just would like to see it. I'd just like to see him make fun of them. And of course, there's a history too.
Now, since the prophets always pick like a person from your mind to be their representative, so does that mean we're going to do a split screen like technical episode where on one side you have Q in his robes and that's Q, but then we have like next gen uniform Q, but he's actually the prophet, so he gets to act against himself. Oh man, I don't know.
Well, not just that. It's not just that. It's that it switches too. Like every line changes, so he has to do all these different versions of Q. Talking,
he can wear the judge robes, the TNG uniform, the DS9 uniform. He
is non-linear. He is non-corporeal. He speaks from existence. Yeah, like all of this nonsense that they
He's
just.
He's like, yeah. No, I know.
Let's do this.
Yeah.
Come on.
And one of them, he's the scarecrow. So we get to see. He's like, you were also here. He's like, yes, we've all been the scarecrow. We know.
You never told me these prophets were so devilishly handsome before.
Why do I feel like this is like we're writing this as if it's like The Mask with Jim Carrey? Like it's so zany.
Well, there's no. I mean, you correct me, didn't you? There's no funny, or even it doesn't have to be like the whole episode, but no funny-esque prophets episode.
Well, the best, closest thing I would consider is when Quark goes to speak with them.
Oh.
Because they have no idea what to make of him, and he has to convince them to... I can't remember
This is why Prophet is good. Okay. Or a non-corporeal, formless being, sure. We'll believe you.
He changes their minds on something, and that's the closest it gets to, like, silly funniness, But, yeah, man, the prophets really don't make a lot of sense. Just, like, all the way around. But that's
now
okay.
I'm picturing Q being like, did you mind when they like mined the entrance to your temple? Did that upset you at all? Like,
because again, what is Q? Q is a chaos agent, but neutral, chaos neutral. He's neither good nor evil. But I think that's what he can disturb the relative.
Like, I played God before. Those little blah 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 on this planet. They worshipped me for a millennia. It was fun, but I grew out of it. And find yourself a starship. I see you found yourself a starship captain.
We all have. We've all been there.
They're the best.
Everybody has their favorite captain. Just to alleviate some of the boredom of being an omnipotent supreme space being.
But maybe that's the difference: is the prophets have no concept of boredom because they're non-linear. They literally don't experience like time like we do.
Mm-hmm.
They say that, but
that's true.
But
well, yeah, because I'm not saying I like it, but I think it's an interesting thing with and again, Daniel, you're watching it, you can correct me. The prophets are pretty flat as far as like, what are they? Who are they? We just assume they are good, end quote, and want Bajor to be better, quote, better. Well, like, what does that mean? But like, I think
we know they're good more because of the comparison with the Pa race, which are obviously evil. Like, that's all we know.
But like, you get that bite later in the series, whether it's good or bad, about like, oh, you marry, Sisko marries Cassidy, bad things will happen, and then it starts to be like, do what we tell you to do, or XYZ.
Oh, now they understand time. You're gonna give me this sort of ultimatum. You understand time real well now, you stupid prophets. Man,
especially going back and being a woman and marrying the Siskos, and then
listen, I don't like the prophets. I don't like them. I think they're a bunch of bullies, and I think they just can get away with it because they got. I don't even know what power they have. They have the power to send you back and forth in time. I guess that's it. But whatever, doesn't matter.
They have the power to put you in the white space. That's it. That's all I've seen them be able to do. Like,
because like, what is
and
the
erase your fleet if you go through their wormhole?
Yeah.
Because
it. That's their power.
Because isn't not that I'm asking what is the celestial temple? Like, it's their place. I'm not even going to ask any questions about that. There's a realm that exists. I get that. But the fact that it is a wormhole that takes you from the alpha quadrant to the gamma quadrant, like, any rhyme or reason, or just coincidence that their realm happens to also actually be a functioning wormhole? Like, those two things should not be the same. Like, it's not like, oh, we created this wormhole because we wanted to help Bajor. Like, that's never part of the equation. It's just,
no,
we are Celestial Temple, and also it's like, we're a KFC and a Hardee's. Like, I mean, like, you don't, but that's random that you put we're a Celestial Temple and a wormhole.
Is there a planet on the other side of the wormhole that they care about equally or at all? I don't know.
Yeah,
maybe there is. Maybe there's not.
Are you saying it has two families? Oh man, that's those. Are you
saying that
beings.
The Dominion worship the prophets too? Like, gosh, that's
if
weird.
Not, do they only care about Bajor because they are close to Bajor? Because they are Bajoran.
Of Bajor.
Yeah, like, is that because they live in the Bajoran system? Is that the only reason they care?
I mean, all these
and if so, they did a pretty bad protection job for the past 60 years. So, like, if they're useless, if they're powerless, unless you go into their tiny little zone, and then once you get in their tiny little zone, they bully you around, man, and then pretend like they don't know what they're doing. I don't like them. I think they're just a bunch of means.
I mean, at the end of it, it comes down to writing television for godlike, omnipotent beings is really hard because we have a lot of really good questions that we never get answers to.
Yeah. And the representation that we do get is very mixed, I'll say, at best. It's just like, I don't really know what they care about or why, and then
it makes it hard to connect with them if you don't know their motivation.
Well, you can't connect with the prophets. They don't have. I don't know if you're supposed to. I don't think so.
They're pure plot.
Yeah. You're supposed to care about the people that care about the prophets. You're supposed to care about Kira, and you're supposed to care about Sisko, and it's
the Sisko.
Yeah.
Because I can get in as much as I can. I can get the Bajoran perspective that, hundreds or thousands of years ago, some Bajorans randomly hit the wormhole, came out with tales about the godlike beings, and then that's how that all started. And I get that. And I guess the sending out orbs thing is also a little sketchy. But like from the prophet's perspective, what is their feeling about the Bajorans? Or is it just like the first organic beings that ever met them? That just happened to be, and so like, oh, I guess we like the puppies that we met.
Well, and that's true. I forgot about the orbs. Like, why did they send the orbs? Why do the orbs have such random abilities? Like the Orb of Time seems a little overpowered for mortals.
Yeah, and that's one you wouldn't give back. Just saying. But yeah, like these orbs exist, and you can interact with the prophets. It's so bizarre to me. The whole episode where I was just talking about where Jake and Kira fight. There's a whole B plot about Kai Wynn and how she's literally never interacted with the prophets, and it's a huge deal because she's just her whole life she's never had an interaction with them. And yet any schmuck that goes into the church on Deep Space Nine, there's an orb sitting right there. Why has she never just touched the snake and orb? Like she has access to them.
It's implied that touching the orb doesn't mean you're going to have an orb experience. They do establish that it is rare.
Yeah.
I mean, we see it in our major characters
for some reason.
a lot.
I mean, if Quark can do it, he just drove his little. People
don't realize that it's every 25th person. You just got to get in the.
He ran the numbers. He knew what he was doing. Right?
He ran the odds.
Was it the first month of a shoe? Because I think that has to be, as part of it.
It just also seems going into just the Bajoran faith. Again, I'm not making fun of it. I'm just the logical conclusions. And once there's an emissary, Sisko, who said yes, and he's vague about it. Whether they're gods or whether they're aliens. We're not getting into any of that. He has met what he says are the prophets. And there's a wormhole right there. Like, why isn't there like this huge line of Bajoran ships going like, you guys want to visit heaven? I mean, like, I feel like
right here.
There should be like people going every 5 minutes from Bajor. I mean,
that's why they set up the station there, because they knew Bajorans were going to be like flocking, to.
But that's the thing. If you go there and you have the experience that Sisko has every time he talks to the prophets, you're just going to get frustrated and annoyed at these people because they don't help you. They don't tell you any sort of useful information. And then I guess the prophet religion will collapse.
Gets upset when people start to ask him those questions. They're like, should I plant crops over here? And he's like, I don't know. They don't tell me anything.
It's right there.
Plant your crops in the wormhole. That's what I'm going to say.
I like how, because I also get, and again, I mean, would be interesting plot if you can have your religious experience, or if you have your religious location, and let's say all these Bajorans are making the
pilgrimage.
Thank you. I was like, mission. That's not right. Making the pilgrimage. And like, presumably not most of them are having a prophet experience. They just come out the other end into the Gamma Quadrant. Now, maybe some will. But like, what does that do
or the
to your face?
Like, thanks. Pew!
Yeah.
Here's another one. Pew!
They're like, maybe we'll do it again. We didn't do it right. Let's go through the again. And then like, they're just going back and forth.
Every Bajoran that goes through and doesn't have a prophet experience dies because the Dominions blow them up because they don't like them.
But like, I just feel like that would have been a plot, certainly, that you could have some faithful Bajorans who are not getting that experience, and so they're going to be asking a lot of questions, or maybe getting angry, or being angry at Sisko. What'd you do? What mystery are you not telling us about how to get the prophet experience? Like, there should have been a whole lot of like that.
And then Quark is all like, for 9 strips of gold plus platinum, I'll get you that prophet experience.
So then it turns out there are prophets who have left or fallen from grace, or however you want to call it. And they land on the planet and become fire demons. And okay, all right. I guess they're just angry prophets. Okay, I don't know.
Our eyes are red. We are angry. Yeah.
Because then, other than, I mean, not that this is obviously very Judeo based, but like that the fallen angels.
Right.
Now once returned back
where
to
did they
heaven.
get that idea from?
Yeah. But like the power is their only mission, which whatever if it is their only mission just to retake the celestial. Like they don't care about any. They don't care about Bajorans or the.
Well, they don't even care about retaking it because that episode where they took over Bashir, they were going to destroy it.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
So they just hate the prophet.
We can have it. No one can basically. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's like, but the thing is that the prophets aren't good. I think they're not. They're just completely neutral, like 1,000%. Like they're not like benevolent. They're just neutral, and it's just I don't know. It's just so weird to like have such an extrememy, like an
See, I just want to go back to that cold open where like Q is just like these guys are so boring. They just don't do anything. It's like Kevin, on the other hand, he's
party
a man
gods.
He's a man of action. He's like, hey, you killed my wife. Boom. All gone.
You should have seen his wedding. Oh my god! I mean, it was before he got all depressed and stuff. But like he was.
Kevin's like, Q, just stop,
yeah.
Q.
Anyways, well, that's fun. That's a fun little divergence that we had there. I don't know how much we could incorporate it into our Q episode, but it
of Q and prophets.
That's good.
I'm calling it the Orb of Q.
Okay, all right. He gets his own orb. I kind of like that idea too. Oh my god! Oh,
that's how he would show up. I mean, like
it's a thing, and it's Q's head. Yeah, that's awesome.
It's like Pee Wee's Playhouse with the genie. It opens up the case. It's just Q's head on the inside. It's all glowy and sparkly. It's like, hey, Emissary. And then you're like, ba 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 ba. Intro credits. Yeah.
I kind of like the idea of the so at the end he's learning the lesson of both acceptance of that role, in a way maybe he hadn't, and also like learning a little bit of humility because he doesn't realize like the impact he has and how much like importance it is to like maybe like an average Bajoran or something like that. So that'd be kind of I could see that working.
Yeah.
Anything else that we want to throw in our Q episode before we wrap it up for
it's
today?
not the whole kitchen sink. I feel like we've thrown just about everything into this episode.
We've got guest stars from old episodes.
That's right.
We've got new orbs.
I think that's a good lesson, though. I mean, and he's learned that lesson a couple of times, so it's not that hard to delve into. But yeah, I like the aspect, like you were saying, Daniel, where there's like, it's less important that he believes and more that he kind of believes for Bajor, for the fact that other Bajorans are like, dude, like, I'm trying to have this orb experience over here. And the emissary is like, hey, just kidding. I'm not really the emissary. It's like, that doesn't work.
Because I think in some ways the emissary is theoretically good that here is a person who has met your gods, and who you can talk to and who presumably has some communion with them, except the gods are right there next door. And so it's like, why am I talking to this guy? Why am I talking to middle management? And so, isn't there an episode where there's like a Bajoran going through the wormhole and they're not expecting an orb experience, but they're still like treating it with reverence. Like they're like, we're going through the celestial temple to get to the Gamma Quadrant. I feel like there's a scene of that.
Oh, maybe. I'm not sure. I don't remember that. Maybe.
Or maybe I'm thinking of Kira, like one of the first times she goes through. Like she gives it that.
It was a big deal.
Gives it that reverence.
Yeah. But then it's also, I just think, again, frustration that like, well, wait, why is this guy so special?
Yeah. Well, that's why we got to bring Q in to bring a little levity to it.
All right. Well, that'll be season 5, episode 27.
Yeah. Q's like, I could end this war. We all could end this war at this table. But you know what? Let's just not.
It's only Tuesday.
I mean, there's a stranded starship I've been toying with bringing home. But anyway.
It just goes like, what?
Never mind.
All right. Well, that will be it for this week. Philip, if people wanted to know where the vendors' booths were at GodCon, how would they find it?
I have some foam baseballs they can take with our branded information on there from the booth. And
Darren, what about if they needed to get a hold of the bathrooms?
There are no bathrooms, so nobody pees in the white space. They can talk to me at drsci-fi.com, DRSCIFI.
And if you want to get a hold of me, one up Dan. All right, everyone. Until next week, that's it for us here, stranded on SETI Alpha 3.